Now the playoff field of 14 teams is set. We'll start with an NFC Super Wildcard Weekend DK Sportsbook preview with DraftKings contributors Pearce, Dietrich, and Geoff, Ulrich. Pearce, looking at who enters this upcoming slate of games favored, all the lines, all that jazz, the odds supporting their quest for a title. What stands out to you here?
Yeah, if I'm going to play some of these NFC odds, I'm not going to change my stance. It's been play the long shots. What are we doing? Have you watched the 2021 season? 2022 has been even crazier. Why do we just expect the chalk to win? Why do we expect the favorites to win? I don't need to summarize the season. If you watched football yesterday, then you know that the long shots have a chance. If the Jaguars can beat the Colts, then anyone can win. Take the Eagles. Why not? You get big-time odds. Anything can happen. Any team can have a COVID outbreak. Maybe Jalen Hurts starts connecting some passes. They get the rush attack working. Why not play the long shots?
Okay, Geoff, what's your strategy here, dude? You going to play them long shots?
I mean, Pearce is just a little rattled because the Chargers got beat last night. But I think the Eagles are probably a bridge too far for me. But there's definitely some teams that could still get hot. I do kind of agree with the sentiment. I mean, I think that you look at teams like the 49ers, the Patriots, these are teams that, people may have been hot on in the middle of the season, but even with San Francisco's big win, I mean, they're still available at plus 1,000. Yeah, I mean, this offense could absolutely just cut right through the NFC. And on the Patriots side of the ball, I mean, this is a team everyone was like, oh, yeah, the Patriots are back like 3 weeks ago. Lost a couple games now, and now they're at plus 1,000. Telling me that Bill Belichick in the playoffs can't get hot? Absolutely. So, yeah, it's going to be a wild, crazy, playoffs, obviously. I think for me, the biggest standout in the lines for this week, just in the NFC, I mean, we'll get to it, but, really close line between the 49ers and Cowboys. And then, Patriots at plus 4.5. Again, interesting considering how high the sentiment was on this team 3 weeks ago.
All right, guys, let's talk a little bit more about those Eagles then. So it's Eagles-Bucks. That's going to kick off the NFC games on Sunday. Tom Brady and company favored by 8.5. So, Geoff, we just heard how kind of Pearce feels about the Eagles. How confident are you, though, that they can actually cover? Not talking win outright, but do you think they can cover?
Sure. And, again, you look at the trends here. I mean, Tampa is 6-2 covering at home. I kind of throw all this stuff out, right? We're in the playoffs now. And realistically, it's a different Tampa Bay team. And yes, Mike Evans looks great. He looked great against Carolina. The Eagles have been very good at shutting down opposing wide receivers this year, and there's no Chris Godwin, no Antonio Brown, and they're going to be relying on Gronk. I want nothing to do with Tampa Bay covering over a touchdown in this spot. I think the Eagles are the epitome of a scrappy team. Do I think they can make a run to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. Do I think a rested kind of Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert could connect here and put up some points on a Tampa Bay defense that just about lost to the Jets 2 weeks ago? Yeah, absolutely. Plus 8.5 for Philly, I'm interested. Quite frankly, I'm actually interested in the money line in this game for the Philadelphia Eagles as well. I think this is the spot where Jalen Hurts could absolutely win this game with his legs. I'm all over the Eagles here.
Wow, Pearce, you just want to explain to us why you're all over the Eagles besides the fact that it's just backing them underdogs?
It was great to hear Geoff come all the way to the money line, but it makes sense. I mean, we're talking about, the Eagles don't have a chance. Well, let's just look at their first game. They absolutely have a chance. If we think that they can stay within the spread, that means they're within a touchdown. That means they're within striking distance at the end of this game. And as Geoff mentioned, Tampa is not the same team that has been, on fire at home this season. Tom Brady has looked good when he has weapons, but he doesn't have weapons. Tyler Johnson, Rashad Perriman, possibly Keyshawn Vaughn as the starting running back. That's trouble. They've won games recently because they played the Panthers twice. They almost lost to the Jets. They did lose to New Orleans. And why did they lose to New Orleans? Because they didn't have any offensive weapons. And guess what? They still don't have any offensive weapons. We've seen this show before. Steve Buchanan pointed out a week or so ago that, hey, remember Tom Brady with the Patriots when he didn't have weapons? They lost games and he got run out of town. Well, here we are again. They absolutely can lose this game. I know that we need Philadelphia to show up. We need Jalen Hurts to have a magical game. But I think they can get the running game working. I think Tampa is being favored by way too much in this game.
Well, let's keep in mind, too, here, Pearce, Leonard Fournette will be back. I mean, that will make a little bit of a difference. That will be a boost for Tom Brady, right?
I mean, we haven't seen him on the field. We don't know if he's going to be 100% or what he's going to offer.
Okay.
He's also running. He's also a running back. So, like, do we really care that much? I don't.
Well, yeah. I mean, he catches like 7-8 passes a game from Tom Brady. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Eagles did win.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, all right.
I'm just saying he doesn't just run the football. Like, he's Tom Brady's security blanket for sure. The only game this weekend, guys, that isn't a rematch from the regular season, you got the 49ers visiting Dallas. And the Cowboys are 3-point favorites, second highest total of 49.5 this upcoming weekend. So, Pearce, can you see a San Francisco upset?
No, I can't. I can't believe this line is what it is. What did the Cowboys do to deserve this? I mean, they should be bigger favorites. They scored 50 points the other day. They have the best defense in terms of DVOA. The offense is clicking. They were plus 1,100 to win the Super Bowl. They're now plus 1,200. What is going on? Am I missing something? What do the Cowboys have to do? And then the 49ers, yes, they won. Congratulations. But they did it against a Rams team that was indifferent. They were sleepwalking in that game. They weren't putting forth maximum effort. They're going to run into maximum effort this weekend at Dallas. I think that the 49ers are going to get smoked.
Okay, Geoff, are you as shocked about the spread as Pearce is? I mean, 49ers have to find a way to slow down this number one ranked scoring offense.
I admit, it's like I said off the top. I mean, this one stood out. I mean, +3 for San Francisco, who needed a last-second comeback just to make the playoffs, right? I mean, that's a lot of respect, and it's probably too much respect. I think Pearce is right. I'm not sure if I necessarily want to get on the Cowboys here, mainly because of the coaching matchup. You just mentioned the offense. Like, this San Francisco team is nearly impossible to shut down. Dallas is going to have to put up points here. So maybe you just bet the over if they want to win this game, because you're not holding San Francisco to less than 23 points. Like, it just doesn't happen these days. And you've got Kyle Shanahan against Mike McCarthy. It scares me a little bit, but +3, there is. Pearce is right. Like, there's not enough respect here being given to a Cowboys team who has been very good at covering spreads as well. So I would wait on this line. If you're just like, I want to bet the 49ers, but this line doesn't make sense, I would wait, because I think this one will go in favor of the Cowboys once more people realize how small this is, just the spread. So right now, this is kind of just a layaway for me. But yeah, it definitely looks like just a touch too small in terms of the spread right now.
And the Cowboys can't really focus on like a glaring weakness either with like the San Francisco defense. But then like on the other side, like Dallas ranks 21st in passing yards allowed and 16th against the run. So like San Fran can get on there and dominate time of possession.
I mean, I think the big thing here is the Dallas pass rush versus Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's probably the biggest edge the Cowboys have. And you know, that's where the game could get really lopsided in terms of Dallas's favor if Jimmy G turns it over a couple times or they get a sack fumble. So I think Dallas does have a pretty big edge there.
Well, both of you guys have referenced already, like every single home team is a favorite this week, and to no one's surprise there. The good news is the DK Sportsbook is projecting some tight games, which hopefully will translate to the field. Like the Rams, 4.5-point favorite on Monday Night Football against division rival Arizona. Yeah, Monday Night Football playoff game. The Cardinals finishing the season 1-4, highest total on the board as of right now, 50.5. Geoff, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't want anything to do with either of these teams covering a 4.5-point spread right now. I mean, I know the Cardinals are coming in like they have like the one win in their last 5 games, but at least it was a win against a quality team. Like, it was a win against the Cowboys on the road. The Rams are, you know, I mean, they had the spot to put out a division rival. Sean McVay had a chance to eliminate Kyle Shanahan, a guy who's lost 5 games in a row to, and the Rams couldn't shut the door. Like, how on earth do you trust this team now to cover 4.5 points against the Cardinals? You look at the 2 matchups they had this year. It's very reminiscent of how these teams go. One team played well, the other didn't. And, you know, they're just very up and down teams that I think have holes and can be exploited. So, again, both the previous games between these 2 teams saw over 50 points. So maybe you play the over here too. But, man, I mean, if I'm looking at the spread here, I'm actually pretty interested in the Cardinals because I know their offense has been a little bit down without DeAndre Hopkins, but the Kyler Murray factor, you know, he could easily rush for like 100 yards and just keep this game close. So if I'm leading a spread here, it's definitely Arizona early. I want nothing to do with either of these teams covering more than 3 points. All
right, Pearce, what's the play here? Rams and Cardinals, they split the season series. Each club won on the road.
The Rams are going to be the play, and I don't like laying the points. You cannot trust either of these teams, as Geoff's mentioned. But the Rams can turn it on. The Cardinals, they can't turn it off. They've got too many problems to get things back in check. The defense has some serious problems. They lost their key cornerback, Robert Alford, last month, and they've lost 3 of the 4 games since then, allowing 11 touchdowns and 1 interception. And even if you go back before that, they had to win over the Bears where they had 4 interceptions in that game. They still allowed a lot of yards to Andy Dalton. They still allowed a lot of yards to the running attack from the Bears. And then when they played Detroit, guess what? They didn't get any turnovers, and they allowed passing yards, and they allowed Detroit to run all over them. That's the biggest problem. The other pass defense is struggling for the Cardinals, but the rush defense is awful. It's miserable. You can't win games that way. Their offense is also running at about half speed. There's just too many problems on the Cardinals side. Yeah, the Rams have issues, but they're not that far away. Their defense can step up. Their offense can start clicking again. I think that the Cardinals are just falling apart.
Yeah, Pearce, after the Week 18 dust has just settled, though, like the matchups are all set, which team do you think has the best path to the Super Bowl through its like seeding, opponent? You can look at odds, overall potential here, all that stuff.
The Packers have the best path, but I wouldn't bet that just because there's really not that much of a return there. But they should be able to take their home field advantage and their rest and walk their way to the Super Bowl. But if I wanted to go in a different direction, I would look at the Cowboys. I really believe that the Eagles have a chance against Tampa. And if the Eagles win that game, that means Dallas gets another game at home in the playoffs. And then they could probably beat the Eagles. And then that means they just got to find a way to beat Green Bay, which is a long shot. But I think Dallas is definitely worth considering the way that they're playing.
Plus 1,200 to win the Super Bowl in the DK Sportsbook right now. What do you think, Geoff? Who's got the best path?
Yeah, I mean, look, it goes without saying the Packers have the bye. I mean, and look, like we said, I mean, Pearce and I both think the Eagles are very live underdogs this week. They could get a matchup with the Eagles, and I mean, as much as I like Philly as a scrappy team, I mean, I wouldn't give them much of a shot against the Packers playing in their second week in a row. But the Cowboys is the correct answer here of all the teams that are playing this week. Not only do they have the 3rd seed, but again, I mean, I just like them matched up. I mean, if they have to go on the road to face the Bucs, that's absolutely fine. They have playmakers in the secondary. They're a team that can run the ball a little bit, even against a good pass defense or rush defense, excuse me. And obviously, Dak playing at a high level with those receivers, I think they can beat the Bucs secondary. So I really like the Cowboys as the non-Packers option of all the teams playing this week. I think they're in a very good spot. It's going to be a tough thing. You know, they got to get to Jimmy G this week, but if they can get by the 49ers, I definitely see them making a run to at least the championship game.
Man, they're plus 600 to win the NFC conference. Rams have shorter odds at plus 450. That seems kind of wild.